The stock market is back to all-time highs and Bitcoin continues to bounce from the range lows. In today's video, I'll be talking about whether this is a relief rally or if we should be expecting some more downside in the imminent short term. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So based on my analysis from yesterday's video, I went ahead and entered a Bitcoin long trade when we reclaimed 112K as support. Now, what I was looking for here, as per the video, was a reclaim of that previous all-time high, which was set in May. Let me just run the clip to show you what I meant.
We'll see that this actually coincides with the previous all-time high, a crucial level for Bitcoin. Right now we whipped below there and we're in this massive zone where there's a ton of volume and we held at the bottom of the range. So if Bitcoin is to confirm back above 112K and it looks something like this, and we start going higher and higher and higher, grabbing all of this liquidity to the upside.
So this is exactly what we were looking for. The reclaim of $112,000. And if I take you to the Bitcoin chart on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that as soon as we had that close above $112,000, I went long. And as you can see, as per my trade, we're now sitting right around $6,000 in profit. And if you want access to my exact trade setups, when I go long, when I go short in this market, you do have the first link in my description down below, which brings you directly to my free Telegram community. DM me the word premium and I would be happy to onboard you into my group. These are just some of the trades that I've taken. You can see the Bitcoin long, and of course, we also have that Ethereum long, which I've been holding for quite some time now. Now, if you've been watching the channel, you know that my base case is at these lows, when we got that bounce, alts would likely bounce a little bit harder. And this is exactly what we're seeing. Bitcoin is bouncing, reclaiming some key levels, and altcoins are bouncing even harder. That being said, I still think we could be seeing some further downside at some point because, as per yesterday's video, the more times that we go ahead and tap into a support level like this, the more and more it is likely that we will break lower. But as per my analysis, this was a key level to go long, and you do not want to be entering shorts right at support here. So what is next? Can Bitcoin move higher? Well, the answer to that is yes, because if we take a look at the liquidity map, we still have so much short liquidation leverage to be grabbed right around $120,000. Now, 120K is actually the target for my Bitcoin long here, but I will be taking profits on the way up because there are no certainties in this market. No one has a crystal ball and we just play the probabilities. And right now we're in some nice profits. Haven't taken anything off the table yet, but I will be doing so. And if you want updates on that, you have my community. But right now, what I'm looking at here is to see if we can go ahead and reclaim at the bare minimum liquidity around $115,000 to $116,000. And the higher that Bitcoin trickles on up here, the more and more likely that we get alts really outperforming since bouncing from the range lows. The base case has remained the same. Now, one thing that will be a little bit tricky to navigate is whether or not we do get this early September correction, or maybe this pump extends into September and then we end up moving lower. Timing this will be very difficult, so I will be aggressive in my take profits here. Now, from a spot portfolio perspective, I have not sold anything and I remain in this market. I will be selling at much higher valuations. Even if we get a September correction, I would likely be adding more to my bags in preparation for a much higher high in this market. Now, taking a look at ETH against Bitcoin, you can see here that we're trickling down a little bit lower on the daily time frame, but ultimately I think that this moves up. And if you've been following me, you know my base case here. We've been in this swing Ethereum long for quite some time. We took some profits right around $4,900, but we are still in the trade. And what I'm looking for here is if Bitcoin can remain strong, move towards the upside liquidity, I do not doubt that Ethereum could make its way to $5,000. But of course, we need to see Bitcoin continue to pump. Otherwise, this could potentially roll over into this correction that I am anticipating. Now, stock markets, you can see here, we are now at a new all-time high. And we do have some very important data coming out today that will determine the faith of the stock market and, of course, the crypto market. Because seasonality would suggest that it's not positive in September for crypto, nor is it necessarily positive for stocks. And so we could be anticipating a little bit of a correction. We still have a few more days until September. So hopefully hopefully we can get that pump that I've been gunning for, and Bitcoin can make its way at the bare minimum up to $116,000 to fuel the rest of the altcoin market in the short term here. This is a great short-term trading environment, which reminds me, if you want to join on any of the exchanges that I have been trading on, you have all of the links in the description down below. You have Bluffin, which they actually have a wonderful promotion where you can actually get up to $2,000 completely for free in ETH that you can withdraw. This isn't just a bonus that you trade with, but you can actually withdraw this Ethereum for your long-term bags, up to $2,000 worth of it. And of course, I also have weeks where you can deposit and trade and earn, for example, an Apple Vision Pro, a travel fund, or even a Nintendo Switch 2. So if you'd like those bonuses, you have all the links in my description down below. It's where I actively trade both on Bluffin and Weeks. So what is next? Taking a look here at the liquidity map, I showed you already that we do have $120,000, tons of liquidity there. However, taking a look at the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map, which paints a little bit of a clearer picture, you'll remember that when I covered this last, there was around 6 times more cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market. But right now, as I cover this once more, we do have about 3 times more cumulative short liquidation leverage. And so what this means is more and more people are starting to trickle back into longs. Now, this is still relatively healthy as I see it, but as soon as the longs really start to pile in, I would assume when Bitcoin starts reclaiming 115, 116, then at that point in time, maybe it's time to switch our bias, because when longs pile into the market, they come in quite aggressively, and then all of a sudden you can see that the cumulative long liquidation leverage will greatly outweigh the cumulative short liquidation leverage, and as you know, the market makers tend to go into the direction of the liquidity. So I like monitoring this for my trades. Now, this doesn't necessarily tell us what will happen in the immediate short term, but it is a great confluence tool that I like to use with my trades. And what's been happening with the Ethereum ETFs? Well, you can see that yesterday we had over $300 million in inflows, and most of these inflows are indeed coming from BlackRock. So they just keep on accumulating ETH. Now, ETH is showing some strength, but I would like to see it surpass $5,000 before a potential correction. Maybe this is a little bit too optimistic, but at the end of the day, this is now a risk-free trade, and if you're in my free community, then you'll likely be in some significant profits as well. Risk-free trade, if we make it to 5K, we make it. If we don't and we get the correction, then our stop loss is at break even. That's how you should be trading this market. Now, in terms of upcoming news, we do have the initial jobless claim in just a few hours today. This will likely determine if the market will get more upside or if we start topping out from here. And we also have the core PCE price index month over month tomorrow, along with personal income and personal spending. So we should have a little bit of a volatile period here. I will make sure to keep you updated as things develop, but right now I remain in my trades. And something else that was crazy that happened yesterday, Trump Media are launching a 6.42 billion Crow treasury holding around 19% of the Crow supply. Now, if you don't know, this is the crypto.com token, and you guessed it, the chart went absolutely parabolic. As you can see here, we pumped from around 16 cents to, at the time of recording, 0.35 in literally 24 hours, which is some crazy price movement for the Crow token. Now, I don't personally hold any of this token, but I thought I would update you nonetheless, and I do agree with this assessment. You know this is bull market top material, right? Now, it doesn't mean that the bull market is over. It doesn't mean that just because we're starting to see some more and more different speculative treasuries that the market is over, but you can see that things are getting frothier and frothier. And as I explained in a previous video, as the market begins to get more and more frothy, that's typically when you should be looking for the top, which I think will likely be in the upcoming months. I still think that we could be seeing a correction into another blow off top, the last leg higher near the end of this year. And then if history rhymes, we should be having a 2026 bear market where you can be rest assured I will be trying to short all the way down. And the last thing I wanted to cover here in confluence with my current long trades, you can see that the fear and greed index is now sitting at around 45, which you can see is relatively neutral, leaning more on the fear side. So let's see how things develop. But right now, I do think that with this pump from the lows, we can see some continuation for Bitcoin. But I am already mentally preparing myself for taking profits on both my Bitcoin long trade and, of course, taking some more profits on my Ethereum long trade. Let's see if this one can make it past $5,000 before a potential correction. And that sums up today's quick market update. Bitcoin continues to bounce from the range lows as the stock market put in a brand new all-time high, surprise, surprise, and of course, we are seeing altcoins getting a little bit of relief. If the Fed data that comes out is positive or even relatively neutral, then I would be expecting Bitcoin to continue to crawl on higher and grab some more upside liquidity. Remember, there are way more shorts in the market right now, approximately 3x more shorts than longs, and therefore I do think that we will likely be grabbing that liquidity before a potential drop. Now, on our way to grab that liquidity is when I'm anticipating that Ethereum could potentially surpass $5,000, but as you saw, I have still been continuously taking profits on these trades because I am expecting some kind of September correction. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.